Welcome, Pisces, to your in-depth weekly astrology overview and zodiac forecast for week commencing the 20th of April for the ascendant, the sun, or the moon. Going to share the big themes of the week first, then on screen your event chart on Monday always provides an influential backdrop. I'll then go through each of those influences frame by frame to give you a clear picture of what you can expect in terms of your energy, work, relationships, or finance. As you come into this week, the energy that's been so powerful in the sign of Aries, which can be passionate, but for you very much about value, your self-worth, but also everyday money, is still very strong, not least from the new moon. But early on Monday, there is a potential gear change. Things can start to get quicker. The sun moving into Taurus, which has an appreciation of those themes of value too, but already in the sign is Venus and the electric Uranus. Now they're going to come into an exact conjunction on Friday. Can't wait to share that with you. That could be really stimulating and exciting. But also by the latter part of this week, the sun has moved forwards and does forge a potentially tense right angle to the deep transformational Pluto, but also to the quarter moon in Leo. But as the week finally closes, both Venus and Uranus switch into a new home, moving into Gemini, and in the case of Uranus, full time for the next 7 years. On the screen now, Pisces is your event chart. And there is Chiron, which the new moon was in contact with last week. If you have been using that new moon energy to think about where you could perhaps strengthen your own judgment of your worth, that's really good. But the cool Saturn is in the second house for the next 2 years. So the chances are you're going to have to work at really valuing yourself. And because Saturn is in a conjunction with Mercury and Mars right at the start of this week, still, as he was at the end of last week, if there is a situation at the moment that you're confronted with that isn't easy, I want to really reassure you, and that is Pluto. Pluto's linking to these guys, and Pluto will help you to use those past skills, experiences, and knowledge and instincts. Your natural instinctive nature can help to guide progress, but it might be a little slower and may require more patience than perhaps Mars would prefer at the very start of this week. But that increase in the tempo coming from the sun moving into Taurus can see you more interactive with others and perhaps discussing things, gauging different ideas. But as the sun moves on, he does come into a square with Pluto. If there's something tender that does come up towards the end of this week with that square or with the quarter moon with the position of the moon in Leo, try to take it in your stride. I think it is important by the end of this week to avoid doing something you often have done in the past, which is being so conscientious that it ends up really tiring you out and perhaps even stressing you out too. So if you have an option around doing something for yourself that's more pleasurable or being very dutiful, the combination of Venus and Uranus on Friday perhaps is going to see you favor doing something that's just much more free spirited and spontaneous, and you could have a really good time. But by the end of the week, with Venus and Uranus moving into your fourth house, what's the significance? Well, if you've ever thought of working from home, Uranus could make it happen in the years ahead. If you thought of your own business or enterprise, the same. If you have thought about making your life simpler in terms of your domestic world and just freeing up a load of space by decluttering, that could be coming too. And inevitably, some Pisces people will decide to move because you will get more restless if you're not living somewhere, either in terms of the location, the environment, the immediate locality, or even the physical space itself. The chances are you will want to move. So I'm going to summarize those four areas for you next, Pisces, of energy, work, relationships, and finance. But just before I do, to say my personal horoscope reports have slashed the price. You can now pay for one but get three. So three for the price of one. Why? Because people are feeling the pinch. Two, because I'm really passionate about sharing about natal astrology. The life roadmap you pay for will help you to understand the patterns that have played out in your life so far. The transit report shows where all the planets connects into your natal chart over the next 12 months, helps you to time your moves ahead. And the draconic chart, particularly interesting for water signs who are very attuned to atmosphere and instincts, that can help you to gain a deeper understanding of your soul journey. Three for the price of one. Please see below for more. If you've yet to watch your Clash of the Malefics deep dive 28-year cycle video on the screen, your Uranus into Gemini video on the screen, if you'd like to work with me directly, please see my testimonials below. If you've yet, how could you not, have already signed up for my 3 daily horoscope, fire to your device each morning for your early day celestial pit stop, please see below for that too. So to summarize, I think as far as finances are concerned, it may be that you're in a transitional phase. If you are doing better, it will because you've worked extremely hard over a long period of time. Can you have outright fortune around loot? Yes. Jupiter's in the fifth house. Jupiter is about luck, and it is the fifth house about speculation and potentially just doing something off in a more spontaneous way that could pay off. But I think these guys, particularly Saturn, are saying to you that as long as you're aware that things for a lot of the time may require persistence and not necessarily give you instant results. And if you can draw on those deep reserves within you, that's very good. But life is going to be speeding up. If you are finding the current job a bit dull, I think it's possible you could think of self-employment from the end of the week onwards. But a really sparkling, flirty encounter is possible on Friday. So as far as your love life is concerned, Jupiter through to the end of June is in a very helpful location. So if you're not seeing someone at the moment, but you'd like to, I think the sun moving into the chatty third house gives you the nudge to be more interactive to make that happen. Have a great week, Pisces. Thank you so much for joining me, and see you again soon.